When I walked into class on the first day, I wasn't sure what to expect. The name of the course itself seemed vague and I was entirely unsure of the connections and similarities between narrative and technology. Now at the end of the course, I understand that narrative and technology are closely intertwined and largely rely on each other. This critical analysis of my work seeks to show how my understanding of the key concepts of the course came about through reading, discussion, and projects. The first major topic that was discussed in class was sound transmission, and how the use of the human voice has changed the nature of narrative. When the voice was first able to be transmitted, it marked a milestone in human history. For the first time ever, a voice could be heard without the physical presence of a person, completely changing how the world viewed the voice. The voice was no longer associated with the physical body. Technologies such as the telephone made narrative more interactive as the story developed, as the speakers were telling it. The introduction of radio created an entirely new genre of narrative, the radio drama. Stories were told to a huge audience, using language written for the ear rather than the wordy, descriptive language of traditional narrative. These concepts were instrumental in creating my radio drama. I had never written for the ear before, and was honestly quite uncomfortable with the sound of my own voice. When we created the concept of our radio drama, it was with the listening audience in mind. We wanted to create something that was easy to understand from a modern perspective, while still maintaining the original mood that Poe intended. Poe used a lot of descriptive language that had to be transformed into a cohesive, audio-only piece. Jason and I used a multitude of sound effects to achieve the desired effect that the piece had on the audience. For a live recording, I felt that the acting was fairly convincing and that the sound effects were used appropriately. The lessons learned through the unit on sound transmission were instrumental in helping us create a very chilling piece. Sound reproduction and editing were the next concepts to be discussed at length in the course. With sound reproduction came the opportunity to hear one's own voice as others heard it, while simultaneously breaking down the relationship between voice and the physical body. A perfect example of this was in Krapp's last tape. Krapp's relationship with his own voice was one of nostalgia as well as scorn. Krapp didn't often agree with what his former self had said in the past, but he was unable to change the particular content of the tapes. Krapp used the tapes to make his voice and anecdotes permanent, and each tape he made contained some sort of critique of a tape he had previously made. Having the tapes allowed Krapp to preserve a very small part of his former self. With sound editing came the first opportunity to disrupt the traditional narrative. Editing sound can completely change the context of recorded voice, whether it be through reordering of words, removing tics, or taking out stutters. The sound booth exercise of removing the tics from the Tourette's Hero recording made me understand just how much a voice can change through sound editing. If you have the power to edit someone's voice, you have the power to completely change how that person is perceived by the listener, as well as the power to completely change what story is being told by the person. No one had ever heard her speak without tics, and removing them completely changed who she was. Even though the tics were distracting, they make her who she is. Authorship is also a huge part of sound editing, and can completely change the content and overall feel of a radio documentary. For instance, in Finding Miles, would the material presented to the listener be different if someone else had gathered it, rather than Miles himself? The person who does the voice editing for documentaries has the power to make whatever statement he or she chooses. Both of these concepts were very important to me as I was creating my radio documentary on the Pit Band. I believed that I would get a lot of positive responses out of the people that I interviewed, but if I didn't, I was prepared to take out the positive responses to achieve the desired effect that I wanted. Fortunately, all of the responses I got were positive, so I didn't have to do any reworking of my material. A big part of my documentary was the segment where I interviewed the current members. I interviewed each person individually, so rather than putting whole interviews with a single person, I separated the responses from the questions and spliced them together. That particular arrangement of the materials made for a much more effective documentary. The final segment of the class was on disruption, with an emphasis on audio-visual narrative. Adding the visual element allows the author to tell a story that does not depend entirely on sound and can add a face to the voice. Adding avenue allows the negation of levels of dialogue, meaning that entire characters can be eliminated that were originally used in radio applications to describe scenery and establish character relationships. In a traditional narrative, entire paragraphs can be used to describe the setting for a story. If that same narrative were to be adapted as a movie, that entire paragraph can be eliminated with a single shot of a movie camera. Adding visuals also allows a connection between a person and their voice, bringing back a certain intimacy that had not existed since voice transmission was discovered. This can take away from the story, however, when the person's voice does not match with their body. The main advantage of using audio-visual technology is to tell a story with much fewer words. The final topic discussed in the class was that of narrative and interactive technology. The stories told by video games are unique in the fact that the player has the power to interact with the game as he/she sees fit. The player is much more immersed in the story being told by the game than with radio or television. Voice in games can be used to help the player towards the goal of beating the game. Enemies can shout in order to let the player know where they are located. In BioShock, audio diaries are used to tell stories of individuals who once lived in Rapture. Voices in video games and subsequently the stories they tell add a whole new dimension to the narrative genre. The final project made use of these last two concepts. My goal was to switch the genres of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and horrors of Spider Island while telling a completely new story. I achieved this goal, but the final product ended up being much more geared to the horror side than the children's side. The voice played an extremely important role in the content of my disruption. It was jarring at times, which is exactly what I intended. I wanted to create a story that was slightly off in some way, and I believe I succeeded. Now that I have finished the course, I feel that I understand the relationship between voice, narrative, and technology in a much more detailed fashion. By applying the concepts we learned in the class to the 3 class projects, I am now much more comfortable with my own voice, and I now see the human voice as something that should be treasured, cherished, and never be taken for granted.